Congratulations! You have been invited to join the Eye of the Fallen God. We believe that you may be of use to us, but be warned, membership is not just given, it is earned. You will be given 8 tasks. Failure to accomplish these tasks result in your sacrifice to the children of the static, where you will forever be consumed by the unworthy. But fear not. Success grants you wealth, power, and immortality, a chance to be one with the Eye. Your first task is to find where the Eye fell, deep in the bayous of Manchac, where the cypress grows blood red. Meet us on the 8th hour on the 8th day in the 8th month. Understand, there is no refusal to this honor. You will join with us or be consumed by oblivion for all eternity. We look forward to meeting you very soon.
The following notes and tapes belong to Carl Summers, a reporter for the Kate's Crossing Daily Star. He was found dead in his apartment Thanksgiving Day, 1994, after spending the better part of a decade investigating a cult called the Eye of the Fallen God. Some people believe the organization is nothing more than an urban legend. However, there are many more that believe the Eye is real and had Carl murdered. I am one of those people. I've had these tapes in my possession for 30 years, scared to do anything with them. But I'm no longer afraid. The Eye can't hurt me, not anymore. But I can hurt them. They'll never be able to hide again, not after the world sees them for what they truly are. Chris, if you're reading this, I'm sorry. It means the investigation ended the way I figured it would. I'm dead. Now it's up to you to finish what I couldn't. Take my notes, publish them. You need to expose the Eye. Keep these monsters from destroying more lives. It might mean you'll end up like me, but this is why we got into the news. To inform people, save people, make a difference. Last time we spoke, you didn't believe me. You were convinced I was chasing an urban legend. I think after looking through this material, you'll change your mind. July 19th. It worked. I received an invitation from the Order of the Eye. I have been trying to secure an invitation for the better part of a decade. It came through Landon Clark, the owner of the Burger Shack. I had a tip he was connected, so I made friends. Looks like it was a good tip. The invitation came in the form of a VHS tape. If you're reading these notes, then I'm sure you've seen the tape. It asked that I meet them on the 8th of August in Bayou Manchac, where the cypress trees grow red. Easy enough. Anyone from Tangipahoa can find Ruddock. A few days later, I received another tape through the mail. There was no return address, and it was labeled The Pledge.
Remember the pledge. You will be required to recite it on the 8th hour of the 8th day of the 8th month. Failure will result in your sacrifice to the children of the static. I swear to embrace the vision of the fallen Eye. I pledge to serve with unwavering commitment, and in all my endeavors, I will strive to do the will of the Eye, even if it means my death. I surrender my fear because I am always seen. I have nothing of worth except my body and soul, which I offer in hopes of finally being whole once more. Where I was one, I am many. We are the Eye with many heads. This oath cannot be broken, in this life or the next.
August 9th. I pulled off the Rudok exit around 7 p.m. Normally there isn't much to see, but that wasn't true this time. I noticed a dozen vehicles parked under the interstate. Someone dressed in a heavy cloak and a bright green mask that resembled a single eye came out to meet me. In my rearview mirror, I noticed two more lurking around. They asked me for my name. I gave it and was allowed to park. I have a feeling if I was someone different, this would have ended badly. I was escorted to an airboat where I was greeted by several more members of the Eye. None of them said a word, and all of them were packing heavy artillery. They brought me to a massive wooden structure in the middle of the bayou, built under the blood-red cypress trees. It resembled an enormous cabin, but built on massive pilings. Before they allowed me inside, they gave me a blank white mask. This group clearly values secrecy. Inside there were hundreds of hooded people. Each of their faces were covered by identical bright green one-eyed masks. Only 8 of us were dressed in what I would consider normal clothes and plain white masks. We were kept in the center of the Great Hall while the others mingled around us. None of them spoke to us, and we didn't speak to each other either. The presence of an armed escort encouraged us not to. 8 of us were to be inducted, but only 6 of us made it through. We were asked to recite the pledge one after the other. I was second, and I gave it with no trouble. The next guy and the woman at the end weren't so lucky. There were no second chances. They escorted them to an empty room located in the back of the hall. It seemed empty, save for a single television. Playing on the television was static. They placed them in the room and closed the door. I could see the room get brighter through the cracks, but the light looked dirty, almost like static. I heard them scream, but it sounded distant, far away, like it was on the television. Then there was silence. They opened the door and there was nothing. I don't know where they went nor how. Maybe they dropped through the floor. Regardless, I'm pretty sure I won't see them again. More than likely, no one will see them again. After the ceremony, they explained that we were not quite members of the order yet. But this was the beginning of our journey. They handed us the next tape to be watched before our next meeting in 8 days. They placed the 6 of us back on the airboat and sent us on our way. As the cabin shrank from the distance, I could hear them celebrating.
Congratulations on giving your pledge. Don't forget those words. Any member who forgets their pledge will be fed to the children of the static. You have only taken the first step in your journey to be closer to the Eye. Now, we must ask you to burn away your former life so that you can make room for your new one. In 8 days, you will meet with the Order again, and you will be required to bring something of importance, something that you care deeply about, something that is priceless only to you. You will cast it into the fire. If your sacrifice is found wanting, you will be cast into the fire instead. I trust you will take this threat seriously.
August 13th. 4 days after the oath, I received a black box through the mail. Inside was a black bow and a VHS tape. I don't know why, but this tape made me feel a little more nervous than the others. It's probably because I'm now on the inside, in their world. I'm not a full member yet, but to some degree, I am part of the Eye. Their property, I suppose. I guess that's fair. I did take their oath after all.
Hello, Carl. In a few days, you will be taking your next step toward a higher calling. You will be one step closer to the Eye. In 4 days, we will come and escort you to the Great Fire. Along with this tape, you should have also found a black bow. Place it on your sacrifice. Again, be sure that it is worthy of the Eye, or it will be you in the fire.
The Eye is definitely quick with their threats. I placed the bow on a small hunting knife given to me by my father. It was the last thing he ever gave me. I keep it next to a photo of him in my bedroom. Yeah, I have many photos of Dad with the family or by myself, but it's my only picture with him and me. I couldn't be over 10 in the picture. We were at the beach. I'm wearing the biggest smile, and while he is also smiling, there seems to be a hint of sadness to him, almost like he knows that he'll be gone in a few days, found dead in his office. I was the one who found him. It was after school, and Mom was working at the hospital. We always did pizza when she had evening shifts, so I was excited when I got off the bus. I can still see the bullet wound on the right side of his face. I always thought that was strange since he was left-handed. He didn't leave a note either, or at least that's what we thought. It wasn't until Mom passed when I was cleaning out old things that I found what I thought was never written. It was folded in a book of fairy tales that he used to read to me at bedtime. The letter was addressed to me and dated March 1974. The month he died. It read, "Carl, my boy, I don't know when you might find this note. You may never see it, and maybe that might be for the better. But I feel compelled to explain what will most likely come to pass. I will be found dead. How it will happen, I'm not sure. That is for them to decide. I've made a deal with very bad people, a group that call themselves the Eye. I thought helping them would help us all, but I see now they are evil and corrupt. And if I stay with them, they will corrupt you and your mother as well. So I've decided to expose them. If I am successful, you will never see this letter. If not, you might. I pray for the former, but fear the latter. Know that I love you, always. Your father, Walter Lane." There you have it, Chris. Now you know who I really am. Carl Lane. Not that the name should mean anything. My father wasn't famous. He was a manager in a finance company. My dad had notes hidden through his library. I didn't get the full picture, but I was able to piece together enough to get me started. Started on a journey that would lead me to discover my father's murderers. Now I'm one of them. I wonder if my dad would be ashamed. No, I'm not one of them. I'm the poison pill they don't know they've already swallowed. But that's why I changed my name to Summers. Created a fake identity. I obviously couldn't take the chance that they would recognize Lane. And I doubt they'll connect me to him. Enough time has passed. I'm banking that they've forgotten about him. Too arrogant to recall a life they snuffed out 20 years ago. I don't remember when the Eye came for me. I was watching television alone in my home. The doors were locked. I know. I double-checked. Several of them found their way into my living room. Before I questioned their abrupt appearance, everything went black. I woke up in a vast field. It seemed like a different part of Louisiana, somewhere far from Kate's Crossing. Again, we had masks on and were told not to remove them under the penalty of death. We were escorted to a large pit. In it was the hottest fire I have ever felt.
It was like staring down a hole straight to hell. We were surrounded by hundreds of members of the Eye. They were spectators to this ceremony. Each of our gifts were laid out in front of us, wearing their black bows. A woman in a golden one-eyed mask asked each of us to describe our gift and toss it into the fire. I was first. I told them it was the last gift my father was able to give to me. It was hard, but I did as told and gave it to the fire. A red flame popped up like hot grease from a pan. The spectators clapped in response. I was asked to take a seat in front of them. The next guy had a watch. He said it was expensive and tossed it in. A black puff of smoke emerged from the flame as a response. The spectators started whispering. The woman shook her head and told him he was warned to take this seriously. Two large masked figures approached him from either side, grabbed him by the shoulders. He begged for a second chance. My instincts nudged at me to help him, but I know what these people are capable of. They slung him into the open flame. I could hear his screams as he fell through the fire. A red spark popped out after his screaming ceased. The spectators clapped. Fortunately, no one else's gift was rejected. After the last was offered to the fire, everything once again went black. I woke up in my living room with another tape sticking out of the VCR.
It is time to extinguish the flames of your former life. The water in our parish is very special. It is blessed with the blood of the Eye, but it unfortunately is diluted by the enemy. In 8 days, you will be brought to its most pure source, where you will allow the waters to nourish you. It will feed your body and your soul. With every drop, you will get closer to us, to the Eye. Afterwards, a piece of the Eye will grow inside you, develop, live with you, join with you, transform you into one of our many eyes. Do not fear this step. Embrace it. It is by far the most important, the most necessary. Welcome, my brother, to the Eye.
August 18th. This time, when the Order of the Eye came for me, it wasn't under the cloak of darkness. I wasn't knocked out or made to wake up in some mysterious location. No, this time I was escorted to the next part of the initiation by a friend, or someone I was pretending to be friends with. It was Landon Clark. I greeted him, and he hugged me, called me brother. I could tell he meant it. His grip was tight, like family. It reminded me of how my dad hugged me. After today, you're truly one of us, he said. The water is the most important part. His blood, his eyes, will forever be a part of you. We'll all be one. Drinking anything's blood didn't sit well with me, even if it was metaphorical. But I knew better to not say anything. Landon took me to the abandoned Tangi water treatment plant, the one that was bombed by terrorists a few years ago. From the outside, it looked unsafe, like it was barely standing. I never could understand why they didn't knock the place down, especially after they established the new location. Once inside, it was clear why this place was still here. It was decorated with symbols of the Eye. It felt like an abandoned church. And to them, the Eye, I suppose it was. At the bottom floor, there was a cave, and we went deeper than I thought was possible this far south. At the bottom, there was a pool of water. It glowed bright blue, bright enough to illuminate the entire cave, bright enough for me to see it wasn't rock we were standing on. It was way too soft. It felt like flesh. Landon grabbed the cup, filled it with the bright blue liquid, and took a sip. He then handed it to me. I didn't want to drink it, but this group clearly took their traditions and superstitions seriously. Refusal would have been the end of me. As the liquid passed my lips and down my throat, I instantly became energized, refreshed. This was the best water I'd ever had. He took the glass and filled it again. He drank, then handed it back to me. Drink as much as you like, he said, because you won't be able to taste it again until you bring another into our ranks. We drank our fill, then he brought me home. He left me with a tape and told me he'd see me soon.
Congratulations. You are now a full member of the Eye. We are many, but you are one of the elites, one of the Eyes chosen. Many of our little Eyes are unaware they're even members, but that will never be you. Not now. Never again. You will forever be in control of your destiny. Come and celebrate your ascension. Meet with your brothers and sisters. Meet with your new and forever family. Join us at our celebration and witness the fruits of our sacrifice.
August 29th. I knew the Eye was evil, and of course they are. But they are something worse than I could have ever imagined. I thought they were just well-connected people, ruining the lives of others for their personal gain. But they are beyond that. The thing they worship is real and horrible. I know this sounds crazy, Chris, but seeing it is crazier. God help me. I wish I could wipe it from my mind. Landon picked me up at 7. I changed into a tux that he provided, and we arrived at the Royal Oak Country Club promptly at 8. There, I mingled with people from all over the world. Millionaires, senators, representatives from both national and the state level. I saw Mayor Watts too. I even had a chance to speak with Big Bear Dunnington's oldest son, Franklin Dunnington. People I had no chance of knowing or meeting welcomed me like a brother. But seeing these people didn't surprise me. Some of them I actually expected. But there were thousands of members there. So many people. I didn't have a chance to meet everyone. I have no doubt they chose this place because it's heavily secluded. Miles of trees and swamp in every direction. The country club has a massive hall that can easily house 500 people, but that didn't matter. We were outside in the clearing behind the club, which can occupy thousands. At the far end of the clearing was a gigantic lake. There were 20 to 30 tables near the water, all of them filled. It looked like a different party. There was a row of lanterns that separated our party from theirs. Landon warned me not to go near them. Don't cross the row. Everyone that I need to know was on this side, he said. 15 minutes before midnight, we gathered toward the lanterns. The people in the other party must have sensed how awkward this seemed. A few waved us over, but we didn't budge. Finally, one of them came toward us. But before he could take more than a couple of steps, the ground shook. I was about to find out why I was supposed to stay on my side of the party. A gigantic one-eyed serpent-like creature emerged from the water. It stared at the poor people near the lake. Some of them tried to run. Safety was too far away. Everyone on the other side was sucked up into the air and toward its eye, which also seemed to work like its mouth. I was able to sneak one photo of the creature here. After consuming its meal, it writhed and wiggled in pain. I could hear a moan come from the creature. A stream of vomit erupted from its eye and toward the ground. And after it was done, it disappeared back into the water. We approached what I thought was its waste. Maybe that was what was left after it ate those people. But I was wrong. The pile of vomit was moving, or at least trying to. It was eyes the size of baseballs. The older members raced toward the pile, picked them up with the care you'd place on a child. They rejoiced. The eyes blessed us and returned to us our brothers and sisters.
You are about to take part in what is our most important step. The eye promises us power, glory, but perhaps its most generous gift is rebirth. These eyes are loyal souls that have joined with the great eye after their first death. Now, these loyal members are being rewarded by being given a second chance in life, a new life given by the eye. Our job is simple. We place these eyes into objects such as stuffed animals and toys. We then find victims and give them these gifts. And in a short time, the eye, our friends, will latch on to the soul of these new bodies and be reborn. This is the promise of the eye. This is our promise to you.
September 22nd. I spent the last 3 weeks stuffing these eyes into stuffed animals. It's disgusting. And I don't mean the act itself. I'm talking about what they're used for. Every one of these things is a potential life stolen. I can't continue this. Undercover or not, I'm contributing. That makes me a monster in my book. Which means it's time. Time to end this. Time to bring it all down. Time to give my poor dad peace. I should be happy. But honestly, this is scary. Too damn scary. But I need to time this just right. I need to have the evidence ready. People aren't going to easily believe that there's an otherworldly cult controlling the world from the shadows. Hell, I doubt you believe me, Chris. No hard feelings. I struggle with it too. And I saw the damn thing. I'm sure there's an arm of this organization that will do everything possible to shut me down, make me look like a fraud, which means my life is most likely over. I have no doubt they will take this double cross seriously and personally. I don't know the where or how, but they'll come for me. One minute I'll be here, and the next I'll be gone forever. Morbid, I know, but I need to write this.
I don't want you to always wonder. There has to be peace in that. At least I hope there is. When that day comes, I'm sure whatever they do, it's going to hurt. But if I hurt them just a little more than they hurt me, it'll be worth it.
September 30th. I just received a tape that shook me to the core. I don't know if this means they know, but how could they know? I've been so careful. But maybe that's what they wanted me to think. They wanted me to get comfortable. But why? Why let me get this close? Why let me see their world, their deity? They were just gonna kill me.
I hope this tape finds you well. We are proud of all that you accomplished, but it is time for you to learn more, be more. On October 8th, I would like to meet you face to face. We will have dinner at the Royal Oak Country Club. Don't be afraid. It will just be me and you. I'd like to see you with my own eyes. It's been too long.
I don't know why, but when someone tells you don't be afraid, it has the opposite effect. I can't help but think of all the gangster movies I've seen. You show up to eat, but you end up dead. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but it's easy to be paranoid when you know that you're up to no good. No, this has to be something else. But that doesn't mean whatever this is isn't any less dangerous or deadly. October 7th. I've heard nothing from the Eye. Not a single peep. The pessimist in me thinks it might be the calm before the storm. Perhaps. In case this is the end, I'm mailing a copy of these notes to you, Chris. At least if something happens, you'll know everything up to the moment I went to the meeting at the Royal Oak. Hopefully this isn't the end. But if it is, I want to be prepared. If I don't get them, then at least I know you will. And I can die with that. October 9th. Well, that meeting was unexpected to say the least. I'm still here, for the moment. So at least there's that, right? I met with a Mr. Vint. I don't think he was much older than me. Something about him felt much more mature, yet familiar, kindly. We spoke for somewhere close to 3 hours. It was less business than I expected. I felt like I was catching up with an old friend, or cousin, or something similar. He asked a bunch of personal questions, mostly about my mother. Growing up, life, and college. Nothing about why I joined the Eye, which I thought was odd. But maybe they don't ask questions to things they think they already know. I kept it as true as possible, easier to keep track of the lies. The meeting concluded with me being promoted. They want me to manage the Eye's affairs in the northern part of the parish. They're grooming me to possibly take over a bigger territory in the future. Unbelievable. I guess the time isn't right to expose the organization. Think of the access I'll have in a leadership role. What I can learn. This could be real power, real power to effectively end the eye once and for all. October 15th. Today I was briefed by North Shore Research's Internal Review Board. All of them were loyal members of the Eye, of course. They informed me of their advancements in artificial intelligence and their plans to release a genetically modified version of advanced Tinshbahoa encephalitis into a small town. They were deciding between Springfield, Laplace, and St. Roch. We need to make sure this doesn't happen. October 18th. The folks at North Shore introduced me to their artificial intelligence, Prophet. They claim it was a gift from the Eye. Nasty thing. You can feel his disdain for humanity through the computer monitor. October 20th. So apparently they're aliens. Advanced Tinshbahoa encephalitis is an alien species born from the Eye, and most of us are already infected to some degree, especially me. That's what I drank. That's what's in the water. It's mostly harmless until it decides not to be. But when you free it, alter it, it can be quite deadly. Or at least that's what I'm learning. November 2nd. I met Governor Edwards today. He made it clear that we had the full support of his office. I don't think I've ever felt so connected, so powerful. It's tempting to keep the office. After all, it would only cost my soul. November 9th. I was just wined and dined by a room full of state senators and representatives. All of them were asking me for favors. Me. Feels different being on the other side of things. Mr. Vint has requested another meeting for tomorrow. Wanted to see how things were going. November 10th. They know everything. They always knew. Since the beginning. God, how could I be so stupid? They know who I am, Chris. They know that my last name is really Lane. They know that I'm trying to expose them. And I'm sure you're asking how. How did they find out? Why did they let me join? The answer is ridiculously simple. Stupidly simple. Mr. Vint is Walter Lane, my dad, reborn in another body, in a body he stole. This was a lot to take, of course. He tried to ease me into it, but how the hell do you ease someone into this? He explained to me that when he died, he awoke inside the Eye. Inside its belly, there were thousands of others joined in its flesh. That's where he became whole for the first time. It was there he realized that he was wrong about the Eye, that the Eye was good, maybe the only good left in the world. And after he was resurrected, the only thing he could think to do was make sure we were together again, father and son. The organization didn't like it, but he was able to convince them I'd be useful. So here I am. God help me, he was actually excited about the thought of us spending Thanksgiving together. He tried to hug me, but I refused. I thought about nothing else but destroying the Eye for so long. Give his soul a chance to rest. But my dad didn't need to rest. He's one of them. But is he really? He felt like my dad. No, more like the memory of my dad. But he was more, maybe less than he was. It was his eyes, Even in the body of another person, I recognized him, but not completely. There was something extra, something evil. It was the eye. So many emotions. I felt so many things. I'd be lying if I didn't say that I wanted to embrace him. Embrace him in this false, stolen body. It was my dad. I felt cheated out of growing up with him for so long. And now he's right here in front of me. The eye gave me what I asked for, answered my prayers. Maybe the person he was before he died was wrong. And this version is right. Maybe this is the way. I could hug him, take my place in this organization, meet someone, and wait to live again forever. No, this is a lie. This man is a lie. This whole damn organization is a lie, and I won't fall for it. I vowed to expose everything. That's when he warned me that if I attempted to expose the eye, hurt the organization, that my punishment would be worse than being fed to the creatures in the static. I would be rejected from everything that the eye blessed. I would be an abomination, a creature twisted by death, doomed to be trapped between life and the eye. I would be some sort of vulture, picking the remains of those I wanted to save. Again, I refused him. As I left, I heard him say, "Please." I turned to find him frowning. He looked genuinely sad. But that wasn't my dad. Not fully. It was his memories, but something was off. Not quite right. The light that made him was replaced by something else. He can threaten me with damnation all he wants. Clearly, I'm already damned, whether it's a part of the eye or not. It's just up to me to decide how. November 17th. I've been holed up in my apartment since meeting my dad. He's called at least a dozen times, begged me to reconsider. I haven't answered. I won't. I've hung up every time. November 19th. I'm almost done with the article. It doesn't read like the news, more like a crazy horror movie. Beside the phone calls, I've had no contact from the eye. Perhaps they're nothing but empty threats. Maybe this is going to turn out to be okay after all.
I am disappointed, son, that you cannot see beyond your hate, but I realize that this hate is partly my fault. I left you believing a lie. We can still be a family, Carl. The time we lost is a fraction of what is promised. We can be an eternal family joined with the eye. But time is running out. Please don't refuse this gift. The eye is generous but easily angered. You don't understand what's going to happen if you continue to reject your vow. Your body will be broken. Every bone will be twisted and turned. Your eyes pushed to the back of your skull. Your soul will constantly be pulled between heaven and the eye, but always denied either. You will be forever upside down, seeking the flesh of whatever prey you can scavenge. Those brief moments will be your only salvation. They will be the only time you will feel human, but they'll be short and brutal. Don't let this happen to you, son. At least speak to me one last time.
November 24th. My arm is broken. I can feel my bones twisting, losing vision. Make them pay. Please. Carl was a good friend and a better man. Now he's nothing more than an urban legend. And it hurts me every time I hear someone in the neighborhood repeat that ghastly rhyme. But I fear there may be some truth to it, and he truly isn't waiting to greet me in the next life. I was scared for so long to make good on our promise, but mortality has a way of making us heroes in the end. Your work is seen, and now so are they. Finally, it is time to blind the eye forever.
Have you ever heard of the inverted man? If not, then allow me to tell you everything I can. He flies above us unassisted. His bones are broken, his neck is twisted. He's always pointed toward the ground. In fact, everything about him is upside down. Scars and bruises cover his face. His every feature seems displaced. The creature's smile is black and broken. From his mouth, a word is never spoken. He has no eyes that you can see, but he can find you. I'm sure you would agree. Best be inside when that moment is here, because it'll be your last, just to be clear. I pray that you never see the inverted man, because I've told you everything I can.